What's up guys, got an interesting topic for you today. Shadow Towers. More specific, a forum thread titled Shadow Tower Too Difficult. This thread gained a lot of attention over the last weeks and it's worth to check out. Link to this thread will be down in the description. Alright, so the premise of all of this, as you would imagine, is Shadow Towers. That got way too hard. And people here are giving examples like getting one shot by a mini-boss while having 3 million health, getting fried by Darknik Dreadnought's laser, and many more examples. And indeed, this is true. Shadow Towers did in fact become more difficult with the coming of Eclipse. Now, even group runs are tough, especially in Ultra mode. And an interesting point I've seen here is the fact that hard mode Darknik says 2,500 PR is recommended, when in fact that's not even close to reality. Anyway, few pages later brings the reply of a dev that's basically saying they made Shadow Towers harder to encourage players to group up. So group up and try again, basically that's what he's trying to say. Following posts continue to give examples of high power rank teams failing various floors, and this is a long discussion. I invite you to follow it if you got the time. Anyway, skipping some more pages, we discovered this thread actually had an impact, as at the start of this month they actually decreased the health of non-boss mobs by 30%. Again, bunch of pro and against replies followed, and later we find another dev post from a week ago, no, a week and a half ago, saying, and this is a quote: "We discussed this briefly in our most recent livestream, but there are adjustments coming to the Shadow Tower. We want to make it so that the final bosses on hard mode aren't so much harder than the first bosses on Ultra. Those can be made to scale a bit better so the difficulty levels feel more appropriate. Normal mode is likely going to see some changes as well. Normal mode should be a challenge, but might be a bit too punishing for groups of new players. We'll have more info to share on that in the weeks ahead." End quote. Well, pretty uplifting news for anyone that thought they made Shadow Towers annoyingly hard. And this was the final dev reply on this thread. So we will probably keep seeing Shadow Tower tweaks over the next period of time. Now, my conclusion from trying the Shadow Towers myself and from reading all of this is that while harder, Shadow Towers are definitely doable. Or rather, as someone said here, they're not necessarily harder, but they rather take longer. And I agree about the power rank stuff. The power rank recommendation should be correctly changed. Saying 2,500 power rank for hard mode Darknik, well, good luck with that. Also, the boss's progression seems to be kinda off. You go from Spike, the easiest, to Dreadnik, the hardest. Or is it Darknik? I think it's Darknik. I'm always saying Dreadnik for some reason. Anyway, so you go from Spike, the easiest, to Darknik, the hardest, and then to Dotium, who's a little bit easier than Darknik. At least that's how it felt to me as a melee player. And guys, as a final note, like in every game, only play if you enjoy it. If you feel they broke the game and you're not having fun anymore, do not waste your time on it. And this was one of the much debated subjects in Trove brought to your attention. What do you guys believe? Is Shadow Towers too hard in its actual form right now? Or is it normal? I mean, it should be hard. It makes sense to be hard. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.